Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here at our Restoration Nation. This week we're back in beautiful Hot Springs, Arkansas. Welcome back to beautiful Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's one of our favorite cities in our home state, the Spa City. People have been coming to Hot Springs, Arkansas for centuries to take the healing waters, but for about the last 150 years, Hot Springs has been one of the hottest tourist stops in the nation. It started out 120, 130 years ago as a place to come for the healing waters, and now people come for the healing waters, the shopping, and of course, the horse races. Let us take you on a tour of this beautiful Queen Anne transitional property, one of my favorite styles, and let me show you why. Well, here we are in the entryway. Again, in this period of home, this is one of my favorite spaces always, because it really shows us walking into the home is one of the places where these people showed off the style of home they were creating. Not the type, but the style. Those are two different things. And the style of this home is very transitional, and I love it. Built in 1886, so we are transitioning from the high Queen Anne period where we saw tons of spoon carving, tons of fretwork, tons of bells and whistles, down to that more simple, streamlined, clean, neoclassical revival style. But we haven't quite made it there yet. So this entryway shows us that transition beautifully. One of the finest examples of that transitional style is right here in this gorgeous stairway that we have. So we have a very traditional Queen Anne Moschravia style fretwork design at the crown, starting right up here. That is our earlier period. But then when we go to our structure, instead of seeing turning and a lot of heavy carving, we have a more solid, linear design, which we start to see in that neoclassical revival period. So all of our surround with our egg and dark molding, the scroll work, the starburst pattern is scaling down from the height of that Queen Anne style, transitioning into that neoclassical revival. We see it again in the door surrounds. We would have had fluted entablatures and architraves. We probably would have had highly ornamented corner blocks and plinths. Here you see a very simplified style on both of those. Beautiful. And we're toning it down. We're bringing it back and evolving into that neoclassical revival. In this entry space, you cannot miss the beautiful leaded glass transom that sits over the front, that's been there since this home was built. The beautiful leaded glass that sits in the tower room above the window seat, and of course, the spectacular stained glass that sits right at the top of this first landing. Take 3 steps and look at this absolutely exquisite stained glass. Other features of note in this entryway are these monumental double doors that open into the back roof at about 9 feet tall. And of course, operational pocket doors, one of my favorite things in any historic home. I have to show you the fireplace. I have to show you the surround and the mantelpiece, because those are always my favorites. When they were made in a home and we have the original elements, I'm always going to go gaga over those. And behind me, we in fact do have this beautiful original mottled green fireplace tile. They are missing a few of your originals right there above the insert, but I have a friend who specializes in historic tile, and I know she could get you replacements for that. One of the things I love about historic homes of this era and earlier is the way that all of your design elements are so thoughtfully put together. So you see that we have this gorgeous green mottled tile surround, and that color scheme is mimicked beautifully in the art glass above the front window. So you can see what the color scheme of this home was originally intended to be, both through this tile and that window. I can just imagine it in its grandeur. Again, slightly more neoclassical revival in style, but transitional. We have this very simplified column with a very simplified volute, so very neoclassical in style, but then an almost Eastlake inspired spoon carved sunburst in the plinth up there. So it's just an interesting architectural piece. You see it moving forward, you see it evolving in time. So stunning features in this room. You've got your pocket doors behind me, and then here, moving into the dining room, you have this gorgeous set of French doors. Well, let's take a look at the dining room with some of the original features to be found in there. Now, what's one of my favorite things in all of these homes? Unpainted original woodwork. And it's throughout this house. All the woodwork is with its beautiful original finish. Now, some of it's darkened with time. That's completely natural with an original shellac finish. You can re-liquefy it if you want to, but I will tell you that I don't see any alligatoring on any of this. So a little bit of polish on it, and this is just gonna gleam. And one of my favorite features in this dining room, which, as you know, is one of my favorite rooms in these homes, is the built-in china cabinet. So often these got pulled out, thrown out, done away with, the space was used for something else. But here we have our original, been there since 1886, china cabinet with its hardware still extant. I do suspect, so right behind the china cabinet is a bathroom. Now it's a bathroom, but I think it was originally the butler's pantry. And I imagine that originally this was actually a pass-through where the dishes could have been cleaned in the kitchen and then put back into the china cabinet without the servants ever having to come into the formal space. That's been closed off, but if I were going to buy this house, probably the first thing I would do is investigate to see if that has a pass-through in it. This kitchen is a huge space, absolutely enormous. That doesn't need some updating. It does. But let's talk about the things in it that are absolutely chef's kiss fantastic. First of all, the room is lined in its original beadboard, and it's a beautifully detailed beadboard, different than a lot of the other beadboard that we see in its definition, its profile. My favorite thing that I would do anything to preserve and probably redesign the kitchen around entirely are these fantastic Art Deco pulls and hinges that are on all of these cabinets. These are absolutely spectacular. They have Bakelite detail on them. So while I might not keep this exact layout and these exact cabinets, I would do anything to make sure that I kept the hardware so I could put those back in.
Upstairs, you'll find 5 bedrooms with ensuite baths. The 3rd floor is currently a huge open space brimming with potential. It would make a fantastic game room, family room, entertainment room, or even a 3rd floor man cave.
house reminds me of, truly, going through this house, looking at the layout, looking at the style, looking at the detail elements, this house reminds me so much of the mayor's mansion in Natchez, Mississippi. Go back and watch that video and tell me if you don't agree. This feels like a slightly scaled down version in floor plan and design to that house. So I'm wondering, same floor plan, different state, maybe. Thank you for being with us on Preservation Travels with Blaine and Kevin today here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We hope you've enjoyed this tour, getting to see some of the beautiful architecture here in the natural state. Remember, we are not the real estate agents for this house. We're not real estate agents at all. We don't represent this house. We don't guarantee this house. We can make no claims whatsoever about the house, the price, the property, or answer any of your questions. But there is a realtor who is very anxious to do all of those things for you. And you can find her information in the description below. You can click on that little link and it will take you right to her. We hope you've enjoyed the tour today. Subscribe to the channel to see more beautiful architecture, some that's been restored, some that's being restored. Give us a like, a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time on Preservation Travels with Blaine and Kevin.